But first, it's time for What's Hot Now. Time I mention Zika virus, I get all nervous, so it'll be interesting. We have an expert here to talk about that a little bit later.
I need to know.
Exactly. Okay, David and Victoria Beckham's 16-year-old son, Brooklyn, is taking some heat for a job that he recently shot as the photographer for a major Burberry fragrance campaign. Critics called it nepotism, with one Twitter post saying, "It's not what you know, but who you know, and it's totally unacceptable." And also some professional photographers have said, gee, I worked my whole life to get that kind of a gig. He gets it because he's a Beckham. Is it a fair criticism, do you think?
I think it's...
Yes, I'm hearing a lot of yeses.
No, you know, here's the thing. I think if you flip the script a little bit and said, has anyone ever made a phone call for you to introduce you to someone to get a job, or placed a phone call, not given you the job, it's up to you to get the job once the phone call is made, or done something to introduce you to someone to further advance your career. We've all had a little help along the way. So you think because he's from a famous family, he's getting a little extra heat?
Well, of course.
I think he's getting a little extra heat. Someone, you know, when I was just starting out as a 21-year-old producer, I had a, news director call someone else for me to help me get an interview.
But that's you, Megan. A lot of people don't have that opportunity. Right. First of all, I had to work like a slave to get to where I was and where I am. I had to do a lot.
She's not saying... She's saying she had to work so hard just to get that first meeting, or just, like, no one even placed a phone call. And I know how you feel, because I feel, especially in this industry, growing up Latina in Texas, I knew nobody in television. I knew no one in fashion. I had to, like, claw, kick, and scream my way into my first job. So I understand the backlash. But here's the thing about nepotism. It may open the door for you, but it doesn't keep you in that room. Hard work and real talent keeps you up for that job. So I think it all levels out.
It can backfire, because let's say all the intentions are good here and he really is a good photographer, budding photographer. People are automatically thinking the only reason you got it was because of your name. So it can hurt you. I've had this discussion I've talked about on the air with my middle son, who's in journalism, who never wanted to be associated with us. Maybe not for that reason, I don't know. But because he never wanted anybody to assume and therefore judge him unfairly the other way. You know, he wanted to get it on his own.
That's the hard part of celebrity, though. I think that's...
Right, that's the double-edged sword.
I feel the same way, because Oprah's my godmother. And
does she know that yet?
No, she don't know that, but I'm coming for her.
All right. You also have to understand, this is a social media campaign.
Yes.
He's a teenager. It's a good marketing
Right,
campaign
it's going to draw more
for
people,
Burberry.
right?
So
yeah.
I think this was a great thing. And maybe he's a good photographer. Let's judge his work after the campaign comes out.
No, absolutely.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's that time of day for the Kardashians again. A lot of drama in a recent Keeping Up with the Kardashians episode. Khloe made... This is so interesting, though. Khloe made this controversial comment. She said, being fat really saved me from being a whore in life. Now, let me give you the context of this. The comment came out of Khloe's need to defend herself to sister Kim, who insinuated that Khloe was promiscuous in high school. So critics wondered why Khloe, who champions body positivity, would make such a negative comment.
Listen, I'm a big girl. I'm not saying I was out there dipping and twirling. That's because Jesus was holding me back. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't because my fat rolls was holding me back. You know what I'm saying?
Who did she make the comment to? She's just...
She made it to her sister, I think.
Okay, so I mean, she's talking to her sister. We're harshest on ourselves. Okay, there's a camera on her, but if she's being her true self, she's going to say these crazy things about herself.
But then how can she represent body positivity and then make that her cause?
But I agree with that. Just like Uncle Ben told Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility, and she needs to understand that the things that she says will go out.
And I love that Uncle Ben spoke to Spider-Man. I thought he made rice.
I love Khloe Kardashian because she just tells it like it is, and she's so real in that way. Like, she speaks her mind, and I love her for that. I think what bothers me is that she just wrote a book called Strong Looks Better Naked. Okay?
So where is she telling the truth then?
Exactly. It's like, did she write the book? Like, does she believe
what I'm saying. I don't know if she necessarily wrote.
Because if she really believed that in her heart, and she talks about being bigger and how that affected her, why would you make a statement like that? You know, but I don't know.
Why can't big girls have sex? What, why is she saying, like, what? I don't understand.
She's like fat shaming a little bit.
She's fat shaming.
Big girls are having sex. America, I'm having sex.
Yes.
I'm having it. Okay?
As you should.
Yeah, all the time.
But she also says that when she was overweight, she felt she was at her worst.
Yeah.
I think it's comments like this that put her at her worst. It's not the being overweight or not being overweight. It's when you make this kind of reference.
That's a personal thing to her. I think, however you feel about yourself. There are a lot of big women that love the way they look. There's a 600-pound woman with a man, honey. She ain't like that slowing her down. So, if you're a big girl, keep your esteem up. Don't feel like you can't be sexual. Some men love a little cushion and pushing and tugging and hugging.
All right. I always learn new expressions from you. Like I've never heard "keep your steam up." I like that. Keep your steam up.
We have
All right.
a lot of yamisms
Yeah,
on this
exactly.
table.
All right, there's an Australian mom in, Australian mom in Australia, obviously. The Australian mom who's pregnant with her third child. She was denied she's angry about this. She was denied a cup of coffee from a barista who looked at her 27-week baby bump and said, "No caffeine for you." The mother says the barista eventually offered her either decaf coffee or a flat white, which is so weak with froth milk it could be a baby chino, she wrote. And she wrote that it was her guilt over being criticized by a stranger that stopped her from saying anything, that she wished she had said, "I want my coffee."
I would have demanded a cup of coffee.
Really?
It's my body. There's nothing that says you can't have one cup of coffee a day. That American
But there are a lot of questions
obstetrics
about-
and gynecology.
Yeah.
They say 1 cup a day is not bad. 200 milligrams is not bad.
But maybe that person didn't know how many cups she'd had before coming in there.
Doesn't matter. It's not his
I'm just
business.
saying.
Right.
I am the master of my body and a
but
master
you
of my.
If it was a bottle of wine,
That's what I'm saying. What if you what if you went to a drugstore and I had aspirin, a bottle of wine, or whatever, and I was pregnant, and the person said, "I'm not going to sell this to you." How do you know it's for me? First of all, why are you in my business?
Where do you draw the line?
what if it's a glass of wine?
Concern for the baby.
I had a glass of wine when I was pregnant. I had coffee when I was pregnant.
Did you
My
eat
kids,
sushi?
and this worked for me. I ate sushi at a certain point.
Right, but let me
People
tell
in
you.
Japan
But you
eat
know
sushi
what,
all the
Megan? I'm
time.
going to tell you. But I'm
I'm
going to tell
just
you
saying.
something. Honestly, I was in a situation. I saw a woman outside of a bar one night. Big belly and everything, smoking and drinking. And I called 311 because I didn't want to call the cops on her.
Okay.
And I said, listen, how can we stop this woman from doing that? She got very upset with me. I was very concerned about that baby. I didn't give a damn about her.
But this is
because
a
she
cup
was
of
at this
coffee.
smoke-
Yeah, but
No,
you don't know what's going on in that barista.
Somebody's
I don't know if they
concerned
think
about
that's
baby.
dangerous to the baby. They don't want to be culpable. They don't want to be responsible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
They don't
we're
want to
gonna
add to it.
deny every person that's pregnant that
Well,
goes
she
into
can make
Starbucks.
coffee at home. She can get a Mr. Coffee Maker.
That's why we live in a litigious society. We're going to sue. The
Well, you
barista's
just have
going
to
get sued.
you have to use
for
your
this?
brain in this case. In this case, I think give her the coffee if it was just one coffee. But if you're a barista and you see the same person come in 3 times a day, then I would use my brain and say, look, I'm not serving you the caffeine. I'm just not
Really?
gonna, I would.
You would get involved
Same thing
over
if
a
I
cup
was
of
a
coffee?
bartender
And you wouldn't
and I
serve
served one
absolutely.
glass to a pregnant lady, but then all of a sudden she's drank a whole bottle. I'd say no, not
I
gonna
don't
give you
think
another
I'd
glass.
serve one glass,
I don't
especially
think
with what
I
they're
could-
saying now.
Yeah. I don't think
about
I could
alcohol and
personally make the
pregnancy.
decision to give you the caffeine or give you the wine. I think if you want to do that for yourself, do it in your own home, but don't make somebody else make that decision and have to take responsibility for that because it does weigh on you.
It's just interesting.
Maybe this will.
It's all come down to a cup of coffee with a baby. I don't know. I mean, I can understand alcohol and cigarettes, but I can understand what you
norm,
did.
though. I totally
But
doubt
a
this
cup
is
of
the norm.
coffee.
Maybe the
I
barista
mean,
was also pregnant. Maybe she was early and pregnant and thought, I wouldn't do this to my baby.
There it is.
Okay. We've heard a lot of stories about sexual assault on college campuses. Now the student government at the University of Southern California is taking matters into its own hands by providing students with a 5-step checklist on how to hook up under the state's yes means yes law requiring affirmative consent. The school hosted something called a consent carnival, complete with a kissing booth. They handed out Hershey's kisses and sheets of paper explaining how to properly kiss without committing sexual assault. Some say it brought awareness. It was a clever way to get kids under the tent, so to speak, or inside the tent. Others say it poked fun at the state's consent law. Where do you come down on this?
was it? Did you have you had to test it out? Was it examples? Do you have to kiss?
No, I
someone?
think you got a piece of paper with a Hershey's
And you
kiss.
had to kiss it and take it off.
No, and on the back it said this is what
It's a
affirmative consent
checklist of
means
what
a
you should
list.
do, and I think
that
it's
I'm
got-
good with
Megan,
it.
I want to
I'm
touch you.
aware of
Can I
my
touch you now?
surroundings.
Can I kiss
Right.
you? Can I look
Get
in your
off.
eye? Okay, well,
I think it's gotten ridiculous. I think awareness is great. I think this is good information for someone to have, especially a freshman first going to college and they're first starting to drink, to have this in the back of your head. But what happened to just learning no means no and how to diffuse the situation? I mean,
Except
I'm all about education.
no doesn't always mean no on these
I know.
campuses. That's the
Have any of
problem.
you guys been kissed and not wanted to be kissed and accepted the kiss? Have
I'm
any
sure
of you
I
been
have in the
kissed? and-
past.
No,
Sure.
because no means no. And if I tell you no, you
You've
better
never kissed
back
a guy
off.
and he's kissed you and you've been like, oh.
I've never had a guy try to kiss me when I wasn't very clear about the fact that I wanted to
Yeah.
be
So you're
kissed.
very definitive. I think
I
I probably let
have,
someone
for
kiss
sure,
me.
at some point.
See,
Yeah.
but that's up to you. You should be the bigger person saying, no, I'm not going to do that. You have to deny them
Yeah,
in a
but
certain way.
sometimes
That
you're
works.
with somebody
No,
who's
no means no.
or you can be with somebody who can overpower you. I mean, that's why I think
That's
this
a whole other
education
thing,
is
yes.
important. And whether you do it with this kind of a carnival effect, and you also have seminars and lectures, or whatever they're going to do on the college campus to keep kids aware, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Education is always good, but I think with this whole kissing rules, read the rules. It's a little ridiculous. After the second kiss, you have to make sure that they confirm again. No, I'm going to kiss you, and I'm going to try to kiss you. If you deny me, you deny me. There's a difference between, being denied a kiss and then sexual assault.
Well, I don't deny any kisses, so if you got kisses out there that you're confused about, send them my way.
Chocolate.